Three women invited me upstairs, but I never expected what happened next. What started as a simple coffee shop encounter turned into one of the most eye-opening experiences of my life. Three strangers invited me to join them for what I thought would be a casual dinner party. But what happened next completely shattered my assumptions about community, friendship, and the power of human connection. By the end of this story, you'll understand why I believe this experience changed not just my evening, but my entire outlook on life. Stick around because I'm going to share every detail of this incredible evening. And trust me, you won't see the twist coming. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, before I dive into today's story, I want you to think about this. When was the last time you said yes to something completely unexpected? When did you last step outside your comfort zone with total strangers? Because that's exactly what this story is about. It happened 3 weeks ago, and I've been processing it ever since. This experience taught me more about human nature, community, and breaking down barriers than any book or documentary ever could. And hey, if this story resonates with you or if you've had similar experiences, definitely drop a comment below. I love hearing your stories too. Also, if you enjoy content like this, smash that like button and subscribe for more real-life adventures and insights. So picture this, it's a typical Tuesday afternoon. I'm at my usual coffee shop. You know the one, that little place with the mismatched chairs and the barista who somehow remembers everyone's order. I'm there working on my laptop, completely in my own bubble, when I hear this conversation happening at the table next to me. Three women are having this incredibly animated discussion about community gardens, sustainable living, and how disconnected people have become from their neighbors. And I'm thinking, wow, these people are really passionate about this stuff. Now, normally I would never interrupt strangers, but something about their energy was magnetic. They were talking about organizing a neighborhood potluck dinner to bring people together. And one of them says, "We need more people like that guy." And she points directly at me. I nearly spilled my coffee. Turns out they'd been watching me help an elderly man with his phone earlier and were impressed by what they called genuine kindness. Before I knew it, they were introducing themselves. Sarah, a community organizer, Maria, a retired teacher, and Jennifer, a local artist. The invitation. And then Sarah says something that completely caught me off guard. "We're having a dinner party tonight at my place, upstairs from my studio. It's not just dinner, though. It's an experiment in authentic human connection. Would you like to join us?" Now, every logical part of my brain was screaming, "Stranger danger," right? But something about these women felt different. They weren't trying to sell me anything or recruit me for some weird cause. They just seemed genuinely interested in creating meaningful connections with people in their community. I had a million excuses ready. I had work to do. I didn't know them. I had nothing to contribute to a potluck. But then Maria said something that stopped me in my tracks. The most beautiful experiences in life happen when we say yes before we have time to overthink it. And you know what? She was absolutely right. So I said yes. I told them I'd bring dessert and meet them at 7 p.m. As I walked home to get ready, I had no idea I was about to experience something that would fundamentally change how I think about community and human connection. Preparation and anticipation. The rest of the afternoon was a whirlwind. I found myself actually excited about this spontaneous dinner party, but also incredibly nervous. I mean, what do you bring to a dinner party? Where the theme is authentic human connection? What do you even wear to something like that? I spent way too long at the grocery store trying to pick the perfect dessert. Should I go homemade to show effort? Store-bought but fancy? I ended up with ingredients for my grandmother's apple. Crisp recipe? Something that felt personal but not too intimate for strangers. As I was baking, I started wondering what I'd gotten myself into. Were these women part of some community group I'd never heard of? Was this going to be some kind of social experiment? Or just a really unique approach to making friends as an adult? Little did I know, the evening would be all of those things and none of them at the same time. Because what waited for me upstairs was unlike anything I could have imagined. Arrival and first impressions. So I arrive at Sarah's place at exactly 7 p.m. because apparently I'm that person who shows up right on time to everything. The building was this converted warehouse in the arts district, and I'm climbing these industrial stairs with my still warm apple crisp, not knowing what to expect. I knock on the door and Sarah opens it with this huge smile. But here's what immediately struck me. The apartment was unlike anything I'd ever seen. It wasn't just decorated, it was curated. Every single item seemed to tell a story. Vintage books stacked next to modern art, plants everywhere, and these incredible photographs covering one entire wall. But that's not even the surprising part. As I walk in, I realize there aren't just the 3 women from the coffee shop. There are 7 other people there, complete strangers to each other, all invited the same way I was. A college student named Alex, an older gentleman named Robert, who turned out to be a retired engineer, a young mother named Priya, and several others. And that's when Sarah explains what's really happening. Welcome to our monthly stranger dinner. Tonight we're all going to share something real about ourselves, learn something new, and hopefully leave as friends rather than strangers. The unexpected revelation. Now, I thought I understood what was happening. A nice dinner party with interesting people. But then Maria stands up and says, "Before we eat, I want everyone to know why we really do this." And guys, what she shared next completely blew my mind. It turns out, all 3 of these women had gone through significant life changes in the past year. Sarah had just moved to the city after a divorce and knew nobody. Maria had retired and was struggling with loneliness. After decades of being surrounded by students, Jennifer had recovered from a serious illness and realized how isolated she'd become. They started these dinners not just to meet people, but to create the kind of community they desperately needed, but couldn't find anywhere else. They'd been doing this for 8 months, and every month, they invited complete strangers. With one rule, everyone had to share something real about their current life situation. But here's the part that really got to me. They told us that tonight was special because they'd each invited someone who reminded them of themselves before they started this journey. They saw something in each of us, some sign that we might need exactly what they'd created. And I realized they were absolutely right. I'd been so focused on work and routine that I'd barely had a meaningful conversation with a new person in months. I was professionally successful, but socially, well, pretty isolated. The dinner experience. What happened over the next 3 hours was unlike any dinner party I'd ever attended. We went around the table, and each person shared something genuine about where they were in life. Not small talk, not career highlights, but real, honest human experiences. Alex talked about feeling overwhelmed by college and unsure about their future. Robert shared how retirement had been harder than he expected because his identity was so tied to his work. Priya opened up about the challenges of being a single mom in a new city. When it was my turn, I found myself talking about something I'd never said out loud. How success in my career had somehow made me feel more isolated, not less. How I'd achieved what I thought I wanted, but realized I was missing genuine human connection. And you know what was incredible? Everyone was nodding. Every single person at that table had felt the same way at some point. Here we were, complete strangers, and yet we all shared this fundamental human experience of feeling disconnected despite being surrounded by people. But the magic wasn't just in the sharing, it was in what happened after. People started connecting the dots between their experiences. Jennifer offered to teach Priya some basic car maintenance. She'd mentioned needing to learn. Robert and Alex discovered they both loved chess and made plans to play in the park. Sarah connected 2 people who were both interested in urban gardening. I watched a group of isolated individuals transform into a genuine community in the span of one evening. And I realized this is what's missing in so much of modern life. Spaces where people can be vulnerable and authentic with each other. The bigger lesson. As the evening wound down, I found myself thinking about how we've created a world where we're more connected than ever through technology, but somehow more isolated than previous generations. We have hundreds of social media friends but struggle to make real friendships. We live in apartment buildings where we don't know our neighbors' names. This dinner party showed me that the solution isn't complicated, it's just intentional. These three women didn't wait for community to happen to them. They created it. They took the risk of inviting strangers because they recognize that everyone is struggling with the same basic human need for authentic connection. This dinner party showed me that the solution isn't complicated, it's just intentional. These three women didn't wait for community to happen to them. They created it. They took the risk of inviting strangers because they recognize that everyone is struggling with the same basic human need for authentic connection. And here's what really stuck with me. Every person at that table had something valuable to offer and something they needed. The college student needed guidance and offered fresh perspective. The retiree needed purpose and offered wisdom. The single mom needed support and offered incredible resilience and insights about time management. We're all walking around with these amazing gifts to share and needs that others could easily meet, but we never create the spaces for those exchanges to happen. We assume everyone else has it figured out, so we keep our struggles to ourselves and miss out on both giving and receiving help. This experience made me realize that maybe the cure for loneliness isn't finding the perfect friend or community. Maybe it's being brave enough to create the connections we're all craving. So here's my challenge to everyone watching this video. This week, take one small step toward creating the kind of connection you wish you had in your life. Maybe it's talking to a neighbor you've never met. Maybe it's organizing something in your community. Maybe it's just being more open in conversations you're already having. As for me, I've now attended 3 more of these stranger dinners, and I've started hosting my own monthly gathering. Some of these people have become genuine friends. We've supported each other through job changes, celebrated achievements, and created the kind of community I didn't even know I was missing. The women who invited me upstairs that day gave me something incredible. Not just a great evening, but a blueprint for building authentic human connections in a disconnected world. They showed me that community doesn't just happen. It's created by people brave, enough to reach out to strangers and say, "Hey, want to be friends?" If this story inspired you, I want to hear about it. Share in the comments. What's one step you could take this week to create more authentic connection in your life? And if you try something, come back and tell us how it went. Hit that like button if you believe we need more genuine human connection in the world. Subscribe for more stories about stepping outside our comfort zones. And ring the notification bell so you never miss new content. Thanks for watching. And remember, the best experiences often start with saying yes to the unexpected.